Hey FB, what's going on? So we are here with the equipment review for the week of 11/29. This is the Near Automata event for the NeoVision's version of the collaboration. And to help me out with this week is DBarry. Say hey.
What's going on, everyone? Good to be back.
So this week we've got the STMR and Trust Masteries for the Near units, that's new and old. We've got the new Vision card, Near Automata, really inventive name on that one, and also really inventive art. Then the Near Raid Farmables, the Chow's intrinsic ability, and more. The visual on the screen right now says TMR upgrade. There's no TMR upgrade, so ignore that. So, all right, let's go ahead and go in.
Excellent.
So our first, we have the raid farmables and upgradables. So Virtuous Contract, which is a STMR?
TMR.
TMR. Okay, so it's originally a TMR from 2B. So it's 2B's original Trust Mastery. And you can get it, you can farm it. This is available for free, right? Like the Virtuous Contract, you don't have to get 2B in any way, right?
I believe that's correct. I'm pretty sure they gave it to us in the actual raid event.
Okay, so Virtuous Contract Plus, it's Katana, attack 210, MP 20%, and Machine Killer 75%. Worth farming? I'm gonna say yes.
Sure. Sure. It's just a bit irritating because they went out of their way to go back retroactively in stream and say that this was going to be a two-handed weapon, and in fact it's not. And if you remember, you and myself and Sinzar and Gert were talking about it, and we made mention of it being a two-handed, and I said, unless he was misunderstanding the question and he was talking about 2B's STMR from the knee unit. And it was like, no, they said it was going to be two-handed. And yet, here it is, in all of its horrid one-handed glory.
It makes no sense to me, and I feel like we should get a change just because there was that slip-up. You know, they said on the news, I mean, they've done that before, you know, one language version will have a news publication that says, you know, two-handed, and they'll change the item. So I feel like they should change it because they lied to us now.
I agree. And if no other reason than they went out of the way to tell us that it was going to be two-handed and it isn't. I mean, even just something as simple as give us a recipe so we can convert it back and forth. Because admittedly, it's not a bad one-handed katana for...
No, it's not a bad one-handed, but, I mean, one-handed's not where it's at right now and won't be for a while.
And even when they bring true dual wield back, it's still only a couple units that have enough of the modifiers to matter.
Yeah, and do they really want a 210 attack, you know?
Yeah, probably not. At that point, just use the Dark Vision's one-handed katana. But yeah, I mean, still worth farming. 75% machine kill.
I mean, yeah, it's 75%
Killers on weapons
machine
in general
killer.
is always worth it.
Yeah, it's gonna be worth it for somebody somewhere. It's not the worst. It's not terrible. All right, so moving down to Emel's Head Plus. That is attack, magic, defense 55, and attack, magic, defense 30%.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's decent, just because it's so rare that we have a helm with magic on it. And I mean, off the top of my head, if you discount the Clash of Wills helmet, or helm, this is immediately, I think, the second or possibly third best for free. So why not?
I mean, it's definitely the, it competes with, what is it, that 4-star helm that has magic on it.
Yes, the original Souls 4-star unit. So but I think that's 52 with no percent on it. So even then, it's all right.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
It's rare that we get a helm with magic on it and for free. You know, that's absolutely fantastic.
Definitely. I mean, for those people who are newer to the game and might not have the Clash of Wills helm, or are prioritizing maybe the Dancer's Diadem or one of the accessories, if you're working on a Golbez, this isn't bad for a newer player.
Or Awaken Onion Knight, I guess.
Sure, why not?
But
Well,
it's
he can
really
wear hats, can he?
that he can wear hats, so yeah, he wouldn't want the helm.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Any hat is better than this, especially the free Arc STMR upgrade we just got.
We just got that, and it's amazing. I love that one.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you're a Golbez user, I guess it's nice.
A new Golbez user.
A new Golbez user. Let's put that caveat on there. All right, so we're moving on to Executioner Plus. It is the materia. This is A2's.
No, this was 2B's STMR.
2B's STMR. Okay, so we get 2B's TMR and STMR upgraded, but A2 just gets left in the dust. Got it.
Correct. Which is a common theme.
So you've got boost attack by 50% when equipped with a sword or katana, blah, 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 blah. And boost physical and magical damage against humans, and enable or not to be.
Yeah, I mean, the STMR material was pretty lackluster when it came out originally, and now it is still lackluster.
I mean, I do kind of like or not to be. That got an upgrade too. It's not great, but it did get an upgrade.
Sure. It's just A2's, 7-star A2's STMR was always 80% attack, which long ago in the 7-star era, that was massive and still really good. I mean, there are very few anythings that give more than 80% attack. Not that capping attack percent is hard, but they upgraded it and still didn't quite make it as good, unless it reads that you get 50% for a sword and a katana. So it could be 100% if you're dual wielding, but I don't know.
I mean, it's a 100% human killer, which is nice. That I'll take.
Sure.
So 100% human killer is great, although that's like the most common killer in the world. But it's 100% human killer in the materia slot, so that's fun, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I will never chagrin any killer 75% or above, just because killers are arguably the most important thing in the game.
I would also argue that mitigations, we're getting into the part where whoever has the highest mitigation is the best unit to bring.
Easily.
All right, so I don't know, I like it. It's human killer 100%, so definitely farm that one out.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, so then moving on to the other items that are sort of re-releases for the raid. You get these from the different raid boxes as you go through them. A lot of these are just rehashes and re-releases of 5 to 6 year old items. So the first one is Heavy Armor B. It's a heavy armor. It's 60 defense with 100 MP and defense 30%. I don't see a reason for it.
No, I mean, you get it incidentally along the way.
Yeah. It's your third box. It's not, yeah.
I mean, any of these 5 pieces are good enough if you're brand new, which I've always kind of been under the impression that raids are targeted to newer players. Just because you get so much for free. King Mog was always a close second, because again, you just get so much for free-ish, depending on your ability to and willingness to grind. And so in that perspective, I mean, for a newer player getting the 60 heavy armor piece, that's fine.
Yeah,
why not?
It's free. It's 60. It's a slot for a lot of new players. They don't have any gear. Like it's hard. It's hard to gear out 5 complete units.
Yes,
like, that's actually difficult. And like they'll often say, well, I'm having trouble gearing 1 unit. So like free gear, okay, sure. It gives them something to work up from, but I don't know. Keeping it around further than the second week, I would say like Heavy Armor B, not that great. Iron Will, not that great. Ancient Overlord. Now this one is different because it is a sword with critical rate boost 20%. Would that one be worth like making sure that you got?
So, I mean, if your auto farm team just uses basic attacks, maybe. 180 flat's pretty good too, but I I don't know.
Well,
I
I
have a
mean,
hard time thinking any of them are good.
we saw recently with Golden Riser, for instance,
Hmm.
how rare critical rate boost is,
Hmm.
and an item like this actually having critical rate boost on it is incredibly rare.
It's true.
So I would see something like this as worth keeping because we just don't get critical rate boost ever.
Sure.
And if they ever mechanically release another unit that's built similar to Riser, then, items like this are worth holding on to.
I suspect that they don't make that mistake twice.
You always think that, and then they do it
You know,
again.
you're right. You're absolutely right. Hope for the best,
They
expect the worst.
possibly can't,
Yeah.
and then they do.
Right. Well, and it's not even that Riser in and of itself was so broken. It's just that JP didn't have Bulwark.
Mm-hmm.
And Bulwark is really what made that whole thing so viable to the point
Golbez
that it
in and
even
of himself
continued.
isn't that broken, but then, JP doesn't have MP vision cards. So.
Mm-hmm. Because the Demoness card was,
Or
and
even
still
Oliveira's
is,
card.
astounding.
Even
Mhm.
Oliveira's card is a huge jump over the JP versions.
Right. I mean, yeah, I can see those things coming to JP eventually, potentially, just because they're so good. But who knows?
Okay, so, yeah. Hold on to Ancient Overlord. Maybe it'll come in useful.
Yeah.
Type 3 Fists, not, I mean, yeah. And Dragoon Lance, it's a free spear with 100% jump damage boost. It's not even
Sure,
two-handed. Is it two-handed?
No. That being said, I mean, for the longest time, up until somewhat recently with the variance patch, um, forcing true dual wield on your dragoons was still a great thing. So, newer player having access to a 100% jump damage boost spear, that's really not so bad. Because
Okay.
dragoons were the original I melt content for you.
Yeah, it just takes them 2 turns.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you can get yourself like Dragoon Kane and force, single wield on him, or force true dual wield on him, why not?
Mm-hmm.
That might actually help a lot of players beat a lot of things pretty early on relative to when they should, or even Roberta, since her spear is one-handed.
Or, God help you, New Edgar.
I hope not.
All right, so moving on. This is the free trust mastery from not Eve, Adam. So this is the free trust mastery from Adam, who you only get one of from the raid in the first box. Vengeful Wrath, HP 20% and autocast attack boost 110%. Garbage.
Awful.
Don't waste your moogles. Moving on. Mechanical Heart, Trust Mastery reward. HP Spirit 15%.
Okay.
Chance to counter physical and magical attacks infinitely. There's no cap on it with Heal to Caster.
Arguably the best piece of gear to rerun this week. Ever.
Now, this is the Trust Mastery from the 4-star base unit 210.
3-star.
3-star. Oh my god, even better. 3-star base unit 210. Or is it 210?
I think it's 210, actually.
Okay.
Now that I sit back and try to remember the game dialogue.
So we'll say 210. So the Trust Mastery from 210, Mechanical Heart. So if a boss, physical attacks and magical attacks and spams a whole bunch during a turn, and you have your tank taking all of that, you have Mechanical Heart on it, your tank is going to trigger multiple times for basically one of these casts of heal for themselves every time the boss took an action. It's amazing.
It's very good. And it's not a small heal counter either. I mean, I know we look at that, it almost looks like is that the old Cura modifier, I think, from back in the day?
It is, but it's modified by your spirit and stuff.
Right. But I mean, even then, a free Cura that's castable borderline ad infinitum is incredible.
Well, This procs in Clash of Wills, does it not?
It should, yeah.
So this fills morale gauge. So one of the reasons that like Chow fills the morale gauge so much is because he has essentially this built into his kit, but it's AoE. So this would be less, and you'd have to equip it, single target versus AoE. But even still, it would fill that morale gauge.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, even I see this getting a lot of use into the future when, if we get Clash of Wills bosses with fixed uncoverable damage, if they do multiple times, as long as you can keep your mitigations up, if your party takes, 4 hits each, and you have one of these for everyone, that's every single one of them can proc a Cura 4 times per person, and that one will restore your health pretty admirably, almost regardless, because back in the day when this came out, you were lucky if your healers were hitting 900 spirit. So having even 2B with her terrible spirit with like 12 or 1300, that's still a substantial heal times per unit. It's fantastic. This is a fantastic TMR.
I mean, depending on the unit, they could just go to full health every turn.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Like Sky, if she could survive the 4 fixed attacks, she could be full easy.
So I'm just going to pull up the unit here for everybody to see. Now, this is 210 or 210. So if you're pulling, this would be the units to look for that has this Trust Mastery. So there you go. Now, can you equip multiples of these and they all trigger? Like each one triggers independently?
That I do not know. My only concern is you give up a lot, and materia slots are so important. So equipping multiples,
you would, but like you're thinking like SLB units. I'm thinking Brave Shift units.
Oh sure.
Yeah.
Like I mean, Esther's tank form would probably not hate multiples. I don't know if it'll proc multiple times. That'd be worth some testing.
Because if you can load up a whole bunch of Brave Shift units and take an AoE fixed damage like that, and each one of them's proccing 4 times on top of that, then you fill the morale gauge in one turn.
Very true.
So if you can stack multiples of Mechanical Heart, I don't see it as a problem.
Definitely not.
I see it as a mechanically very interesting Trust Mastery that I'm happy everyone has access to, and
yes.
Do not sell or fuse your 2 1-0s.
Agreed. Don't undersell how good this is in Arena, too. Just for people who, play that or care.
I sometimes do. Sometimes. Okay. So, moving on to Pod 153. Now, this is my favorite item, probably ever in the game.
Mm-hmm.
My all-time favorite. This item carried me through everything. I love it. Its defense and spirit are garbage. It's an accessory. Really what it does is 4 different abilities. Well, one of them's not an activated ability, one of them's a passive. It can cast an AoE heal to the party. It increases common item drop rate. It does a AoE 40% physical mitigation. And it does a Octo-Slash chaining frame AoE, which does proc off of dual wield.
Yes. This was the original. If you had multiples of this, you were probably whale tier, because 9S just never dropped on the original 2 runs. But this was how you could get away in early days FFBE with bringing a finisher to trials.
Yeah, you would equip 2 Pod 153s. You would do Octo-Slash chaining on the 2 units that you equipped it with, and then you use your finisher. They didn't upgrade its damage, which is sad. They didn't if they would have upgraded Pod 153, oh my god.
I know. I was really hoping that either A2 or 2B would have a new pod as a TMR or STMR, but no luck.
No, just more killers.
Just more killers.
That's it. It's your new thing is materia with a killer, weapon with a killer. Copy print.
Just like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Uh,
What are you
yeah,
gonna do?
no fun stuff like Pod 153 anymore.
But even still, people who care about raids, put this on all of your terrible units and let the one unit that you may or may not have pulled for just go nuke everything out.
Having a equipable AoE heal though that does that much like healing is still really nice too though.
It is split over 3 turns, but why not?
Yeah, and what I've found myself really using more often is the increased common item drop rate. So if I'm like farming out something, like a raid or whatever, like something has a drop rate, boom. Because you think like common items and rare items would correspond to like crappy and good, but no, that's not the way it's built. Sometimes the item that you really want to drop is labeled, like tagged as a common item. So yeah, if you're farming like Crist farming, for instance, yeah, exactly. All right, moving on.
Those tier 2 Crists never drop.
They just do not. So yeah, I like Pod 153. It's a great item. We don't need it as much as we used to, but I love it still. All right, so we've got the Trust Mastery reward for Eve. It's the same as the other one. HP 30% and defense boost instead.
Yeah, bad.
Terrible. Don't get it. Don't. Why? Then the regular Executioner. So it's just now. Would this be if? Okay, so 2B is available in the coin exchange shop. Would there be any reason for a new player or even an old player who missed the event, the previous, didn't get a whole bunch of 2B, to get a whole bunch of like executioners, like to go in and be like, I need to grab that?
Nah. Not unless you really want to upgrade it again. Although you can only do it once because you only get one in hand sight. So
you would be basically getting it for the human killer, like the lightning physical damage 150x is a nice single hit skill, I guess. Maybe. But the human killer is what you'd be going for.
Right. And human killer is so easy to come by. I mean, at that point, if you really, because of what you can get in the coin exchange, which is much more pertinent things, and if you're really hurting for human killer, just go and UOC some like Assassin's Shadows.
That's so true.
You know, like that. I haven't used a UOC in a year or more at this point. I kind of wish we could do something else with them.
The or not to be, it's just a single hit skill. Yeah, it is a single hit. Damn. Yeah. I was hoping they might have changed it to like be like an equipable EN chain or something. No.
That would be lovely. And just get rid of the death skill. But no.
It's just bad. Okay. Then you've got Old Virtuous Contract. Any reason to get that? I don't see one.
Nope.
All right, Beast Lord. This is old A2's Trust Mastery. 125 attack on a greatsword. Oh my god, that's bad. And defense 20% and an AoE physical skill. Garbage.
Awful. However, for what it's worth, I do love the flavor of it. Beast Row is a very cool skill in the actual game.
Oh, well, I mean, okay. I wish that they would have upgraded this too, but
if only.
Maybe there's a week 2. Maybe there's a week 2 coming. You know.
Maybe. I mean, I wish they had upgraded it for no other reason than give A2 an actual weapon that was made for her, the Neovision's A2. Because like we don't really have a great sword that's truly worth using for her right now.
What's our option?
At this point, our options for greatsword are either going to be Knights of Grandshelt or Esters, both of whom have stuff that's good for the individual units, but for her, it's just basically a 220 attack stat stick that can utilize her own greatsword in peril. Pretty much for me, I've been running her with the Dark Vision's Katana, and I've just been giving 2B her own STMR.
Yeah, because her equipment abilities are all over the place. So, I mean, that's
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Technically speaking, the Dark Vision's katana is best in slot for 2B.
Then you have her classic Gentle Trader.
Still good.
Yeah, attack 80% and machine killer 50%. That's actually, if you manage to get the old A2 in any way, it's not terrible.
Not at all. I mean, Machine Killer's super easy to get, but I mean,
If you're using a great sword,
80%
80%
attack.
attack. Yeah.
Well, why not?
All right. So that wraps up all the old gear. So now we're moving on to Divine Beast Chow's potential. This is Chow's intrinsic ability that was given to us this week. Now that it's been out for a minute, what do you think?
It's the first one that I've actually crafted.
Whoa.
Really not because I plan on or I have immediate intents of using it, but because I feel like I'm gonna potentially run into a situation where if I don't use crowns, I will never use crowns, and then I'm gonna end up with hundreds of crowns that I never used, and then the game is gonna close, and I will have never taken advantage of these. So that being said, I did it for no reason other than to help Chow cap his HP a little better because he's still super squishy, and I do use Chow as a tank in content outside of Clash of Wills. So why not?
Yeah. So
I
it's
won't recommend it for most people though.
yeah, but it's permanent, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in the Guild Exchange.
Yeah, so it's in the Guild Exchange. So if you have Chow, you can always craft it at any time. So that's nice. The boost spirit by 1,000 and the human and machine killer is nice. Although Chow's not great this week, right? Yeah.
No, because it does extra damage to beasts.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go at Clash of Wills yet, so I'm probably gonna do that
Yeah.
later today.
Enjoy the heal glitch.
What?
Oh yeah. So, just for anyone who hasn't tried or doesn't know, so when you hit the phase change for phase 2, when you hit the damage cap, it's supposed to stay at 49%, and then the AI is supposed to change, and the pattern's supposed to change. What actually ends up happening, for seemingly no reason, is it will do itself a heal that is equal to the old damage cap before they upped it. So the 2.147 billion damage cap, it will just heal itself for
That's
that.
a bug.
Get itself up to, yeah, it's terrible. Get itself back up to roughly, between 80 and 86% health. And then you have to try to DPS race it down in the next 5 turns in order to get the 10 turn clear to actually cap your Clash of Wills. So, have fun. It wasn't a lot of fun, I'll be honest.
Oh,
They haven't addressed it yet, but
Oh well, it's not completely broken, so why do they need to address it?
it is broken for a lot of players.
Yeah, but they can ignore that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I feel like their thing of Clash of Wills is it'll be gone in 2 weeks. Can we sweep it under the rug? Great.
That's true. No one's winning Lapis for it, so they might as well, right?
Yep. Okay, so Divine Beast Chow, it's good if you're using Chow. And pick it up. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you ever want to mess around with him as a damage dealer, although this still makes his damage bad, but he does slightly more of it if you want to support chain him.
Yeah, he does more. His bad damage is slightly better. But
Yeah.
all right. So then we're moving on to our STMRs and TMRs of our new Neovision units. This is, we're going to start with A2. A2's STMR is a material. Well, they're both materias actually. Her TMR and STMR, which is weird. So her STMR is Vortex of the Past and Hatred. Boost attack by 100%. Physical damage against beasts and machine monsters by 100%. Equipment attack of 100% TDH.
So it's amazing. I have many of them now.
Oh my god.
I will echo everybody else's sentiment. I do just wish that it had any different killers on it. Because it is just Irvine's STMR, but better stats. Beast and Machine are now super flooded. In year 3, Beast Killer would have been god tier to get a hold of. And
Oh
now
yeah.
it's like everybody has Beast Killer for some reason. So
Give me Aqueon Fairy.
please. Avian, why not? Little plant every now and again, sure. Bug, why not? I mean,
Oh yeah,
I
I
think
forget the
I
insect killer exists.
right. I think an android with Bug Killer is very topically humorous. So that could have been fun. Um, but the killers are definitely a little overplayed, but it should never take away from it's a very good materia. It is objectively amazing. It's just slightly better than something you could UOC right now.
Is there a reason, game lore wise, that it would have Beast Killer
I
as
mean,
opposed to like human or something?
animals are alive in the game, so you can kill animals and you do use animal parts for crafting some things. So sure, why not?
Okay.
Technically, yes, it is flavor-wise very logical.
All right. But not a lot of insects or fish or anything like that.
Fun fact, there's actually an ending in that game that does involve fish. Because there's 26 endings in Nier Automata. One of the endings does involve fish. So
Could have had that.
that could have been, but no, it's just wishful. It's like it could have been good, but then you couldn't have sold it as easily for this Clash of Wills.
Yeah. I guess. But I don't know. They could have just made it different killers. I don't know. Because after this Clash of Wills, you know, it's like, eh. But
Right.
also this enemy isn't a beast, is it? It's a human
human.
machine, right? Yeah, so okay. All right, then moving on to the Trust Mastery, Inherent Will. It boosts attack by 500, boosts attack by 70%, and then killers for everything for stone, for killers for everything by 50%, but only for near units. Now, I heard you say before these units came out that this would be amazing and must have for both of them, A2 and 2B. Do you still hold that to be true?
Yep, best in slot for both of them.
Okay.
It's I think this TMR is part of why they could justify selling us time limited premium units that only had 100% all race killers innate. Because normally when we get JP units that are premium, they have 200% killers.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess now with this, you get 500 extra flat attack plus another 50% killer. It's just for the cost of a materia slot. But no, it's fine. It's just a copy pasta of every other unit that we've had that has a series locked stat killer materia. I get it.
Okay, so then moving on to Virtuous Treaty. I managed to make that super big for some reason. Virtuous Treaty is... Oh, I gotta scroll back down. It is 230 attack, two-handed weapon. It is a katana, and it boosts attack by 500, boosts equipment attack by 100% when a single weapon is equipped in both hands, and 30% chance of evade and fill LB gauge by 500 every turn. That's a lot.
A lot. I like it. It's just objectively worse than the DV two-handed katana.
Yeah, but I mean, what if you're trying to gear 2 units?
Right, which is why I still use it for 2B, because I use A2 to have, or I give the Dark Vision's katana to A2 for that exact reason.
See, everybody always says stuff like that. They're like, well, the one item that we get from the one source is better. And I'm like, yeah, and you have 5 units. Or 6 units if you're doing like a Clash of Wills content.
It's true.
So.
See, the thing for it is it's 2B's a damage dealer. They could have done something with this to make it so that it was just always best to give this to her.
Oh,
Because
yes,
she has
absolutely.
even
It's not best for her.
300%. Right, and it should be. I think that's always the case. I think someone's STMR should at the very least be in the conversation for the best thing for this person. or this unit rather. And hers is just not, because let's say it frank as it is. 2B is going to last a lot longer than A2 will.
Oh yeah.
Chizuru's katana is the best for her. And so if I have to choose, because I mean, I'm not gearing Kaito for damage anymore, and his damage is middling at best. If in that case, then, if I'm going to be gearing 2B for damage into the future, I'm going to gear 2B for damage. And that will be not her STMR. And it's really just a matter of if they had given it 1,000 flat attack, now all of a sudden it's the best weapon for her. And it fills in the 100% true double hand that she's missing in her kit. And the LB fill is great. And why not 30% evasion? That's just fine. But instead, I will be using the Dark Visions katana, and probably something we'll talk about in a second, that all you need is strength to fill in the rest of it, plus some extra LB damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that it's not the best in slot for her, but it's ranking, so I mean, it's not a terrible weapon. So
it's not. It's far from terrible, and I'll say that with a full caveat. It's not bad at all. It's just, it's not what I would hope it would be for her.
Well, but it can be good for other people too, with the evade and the fill LB gauge. That's not bad for tactics, because sometimes I'm like, man, I just can't get them to fill their LB every turn no matter what I'm doing, and that's nice. And the evade is great because we've ran into one or two where the whole team has to be geared for evasion.
Absolutely.
So,
like, I would actually give this to Kaito for that exact reason, because I don't much care for his katana.
It's not a great katana.
It's not.
But yeah, it's not bad if you happen to have her, get it, but it's not best for her. Okay. Then the Trust Mastery Award is Executioner 2B Neo Vision. It's not to be confused with Executioner. It is a materia with Equip Katana, boost attack by 60%, and human and machine killer by 50%.
Objectively the best thing this week, period. Almost
amazing.
no competition whatsoever. It's a usable, useful Equip Katana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really tired of Clan Master's headband.
It's not great. There's another Equip Katana, but it's from an event from 4 years ago, so...
Yeah, the twin sword.
Yeah, great.
Was that Lauren's first event?
It could have
been. I
been.
think it was.
Could have been. Twin Sword Mastery? Could have been.
Oh, that's so sad.
Here, I'll look it up. Alright, so apparently it was Neo Vision Onion Knight's release event. Twin Sword User was the available to equip katanas and swords, and then dual wielding of both of those. So yeah, it's rare to have equipped katana, especially one that's useful.
Yes.
All right, so I like it. Get as many as you can. You never know when you're going to need it. Then we move on to the Vision card, which is so interestingly named Near Automata. It's not like a time in need or anything like. No, it's just name of the collab. 150 attack, boost attack by 100%, and machine killer 50%, HP 100%, LB damage 50%, and for a near unit, attack by 500. What do you think?
Oh, I want to love this so much, and I do and I don't. It's very good for the near units, no question. But I can see many instances where I could just use the Tidus card. And yeah, you lose, 200 flat attack to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But having a vision card with the chain cap increase that's non-series locked, I like it a lot more. Now the 100% attack, okay, and 50% machine killer, okay, fine. But it's very good flat attack. It's a good card. It's just, it doesn't feel like a premium card shared by 2 premium units to me.
No, I think what they considered it to be a premium card was the 150 flat attack, and that's where they went, oh, now it's premium.
I agree. It's, I don't know. This is very lazy to me.
Yeah, it's very lazy. The name, the art is from the War of the Visions collaboration they did with Nier.
Surely is.
So it's this vision card is the laziest thing they've ever done. They made it. It exists, but yeah, not a fan. But it is 150 attack, which, you know, could be useful.
It could. It's true.
Okay.
Wow, and I just looked it up too. It was even called Nier Automata in War of the Visions.
Mm-hmm.
So it is quite literally exactly the same.
Yep.
Ugh. Okay.
All right. So then we move on to these extra little abilities that you can pick up. We have Resonating Force for 2B and A2.
So those aren't abilities you pick up. Those are in their own kits.
Those are
they're
in
just
their
a
own
little
kits.
Yeah, they're just a little feature that's like how Sylvie and Esther had a buff ability.
It was labeled in the... I'm sorry for then putting them on this visual overlay then. These are kit abilities.
It's cool to talk about. I mean,
okay.
I do appreciate that they gave them synergy. It's a nice little system that I really think should have also been with Tsukiko and Kaito. But, you know, it's fun. And they're okay.
Yeah, it's nice. The 2 units can synergize together, but since they're not equipment, I'm going to skip past it.
Works for me.
So then we've got Chains of Strength. This is if you get the unit to EX2, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You can get
I can't remember which one.
Coin.
I think it's A2s.
Yeah, you get a coin that allows you to trade in the coin and get this.
EX1 is this one.
EX1 is for Chains of Strength and Chains of Protection. Okay.
Yeah, you get this along with the Vision Card Select ticket.
Okay.
And they're fine. They're free.
Yeah, they're free. They're nice. But say if I get a 2B or A2 to EX2, or you said EX1?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so say I just horrible, can't get them to EX1 during the event. Is this something that you think not being able to have it for my A2 or 2B would just like hinder me and limit me forever?
Nah, I wouldn't even put them on those units, to be completely honest. And I think Chain of Protection is the only one that's like immediately worth getting. Let's just take the 50% chain damage cap and just throw that out, because 50% is awkward and nobody needs it yet. What it becomes then is an Adventurer 5 materia with something else. Chains of Protection has elemental resistance and a ribbon, which just makes it one of the better ribbon materias in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The other one is like
25% killers?
Yeah. Adventurer 5 plus Chizuru's TMR. So I would kindly and neglectfully pass on that if I should so happen to forget that it exists. Because I never see myself using it.
I mean, I could see myself using the ribbon effect.
Absolutely.
Now, are
Chains of
these
Protection for sure.
Now, are these equipable to anybody or only to the Nier units?
I believe it's anyone.
Let me look. Okay, so just looking it up in the shop in-game, it doesn't look like these are exclusive to a unit, so you can get the status ailment resistance, the 20% elemental resistance, the 40% stats, and chain limit boost 50%. And that is equipable to any unit, so I could definitely see myself equipping that to a tank.
Mm-hmm. Or even just if you need more elemental resist on a damage dealer, and you want a ribbon on him too. Because like a tank, I feel like you're gonna gravitate more towards 5-star roses TMR, determined to defeat the Empire, I believe,
That's true. That's true.
because it's just got tank stats on it. And then if you want a ribbon, I would use Winged Heart instead.
Much higher
Also be good on
elemental
a tank.
resistance. Yeah.
But like a damage dealer that just needs a little bit extra. I mean, yeah, sure. Why ever not?
Yeah. I mean, it's Chains of Protection I see as worth picking up while the event's going.
Yeah.
But Chains of Strength, I don't see it. Let me just pull that up on screen. Let's see here. The chain limit boost 50%, and then 25% killers. It's got less going on. It's just like they thought that 25% killers was just so overpowered that they shouldn't give it additional effects.
Yeah, this is not the first time now that we're seeing global exclusive things with 25% killer, and I'm not enjoying the direction that that's going, because it's not as though they're giving units more killer in their kits, that 25% would be justifiable. I'm hoping this is just like a flash in the pan thing, that they'll ask why this is happening and then we move on as a unit. But until otherwise noted, I'm very much on alert about this.
We could be going back down to the 15% killers that we got in year 1.
Oh my goodness. I think I sold all of them. Except for like Necropolis, maybe.
I don't even know if I have Necropolis.
I definitely don't have that like Beast Horn or something that we got long ago.
From a trial,
I wish
like
I
the
still had
first
that.
trial?
Was that the Ifrit raid?
Yeah, I know. I think it's an accessory that you get
I
from
think you're right.
from one of the first trials, I want to say. Anyway.
Yeah, that sounds right. I don't have it. I wish I did. But it's gone. Not that Beast Killer's hard to get anymore.
So that's what's available in one exchange shop. If you happen to do the step up for Sylvie and Esther, there is a equipment bundle list category that they brought back again, and so I wanted to go over that because whenever I started with this video series, these items weren't available, and now these items are available. So just quickly go over, if you decide to pull on that banner, which are the best ones to go for in the armory. Yeah.
So, caveat, this is the original ticket exchange armory that we got for when they tried to sell us units that nobody cared about.
Oh yeah. The second one was terrible.
The second set that they've been running recently, it has no redeeming qualities that would ever justify the expense of what those cost. Now that being said, they did not reset this armory. They just reopened it, but they didn't reset it. So it's not like you can go back in and get another Spectral Fiends Forever Black Submarine.
Yeah. I personally would have gotten a second Ready Steady Garb, because just having 50% on like every unit. Oh.
I agree. I will admit that I have cleared out this armory completely. So if I were to do that step up, not that I would, but if I were to do that step up, I couldn't even do anything with that ticket. Realistically speaking, you won't go wrong with anything in this, except for arguably the Magic Evasion.
The Magic Evasion is the only
Just
one
because
in here that is a bad
stack.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, the killers are amazing. They're rare killers for the most part. There's 3 of them on a single materia, so it's effectively 225% killers on single materias. All you need is strength is one of the best materias in the game for a damage dealer, I'll argue. Once upon a time, 100% LB damage materias were hard to find, and you were settling for, Tank Chow's STMR, which offers you only LB damage and no other offensive stats. Well, now you had 100% LB damage, 100% true double hand, and 50% attack just on top of it. It didn't even need that, but I appreciate that it's there. So really, all of the material are good.
Selling us overpowered stuff, I'm here for it. Only getting one of it, sure, okay, that's the caveat. But the second shop, nah. But this shop, everything everything great except for the magic, just because magic doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm. And it also only works for like spells. It's not even magic damage.
Well, it's because, okay, so for anybody listening, the reason that the magic evasion doesn't work is because it doesn't stack. So, like,
Yes.
if I wear a 50% magic evasion gear and I throw a 20% magic evasion gear, I don't have 70%. It just takes the highest value, which is that 50%. And then on top of that, that you can't stack them together, if a boss does AoE magic damage, unless it is typed as a magic skill, like specifically like black magic or something, you can't evade it. So you can't evade magic damage all the time. It's like 10% of the time, if that, and then you can't even get 100% on those chances. So this is it. It's a piece of clothing that basically doesn't work as it's being described. So
it is 2,000 flat HP, but just don't even look at it. Pretend it's not there.
Yeah.
That said, anything else is very good.
Yeah,
I mean,
you've got
Sylvie's a great evasion.
Yeah, you've got two great
Pulling on this banner, I'm
killer
assuming you
trust
want
masteries.
Sylvie.
Yeah, if you're pulling on this banner, I would say you want Sylvie, I guess. Or you just really want one of these items and you skipped out last time they were around.
Sure.
And I don't know, you whale mode. Anyway, so yeah, all you need is strength. Fantastic for damage dealers. Ready, steady, garb. Some of the highest evasion that you can get equipable with lots of HP. This would be great, for example, on Sylvie. And then two incredibly great killers. So honestly, if you're going on that banner, these are some great items.
Yes, agreed. Easy agree.
And also we have a rerun for the Dazzling Demoness card, which is up again. And I don't know, if I could, I'd go for that again.
Yeah, I mean, it's still an amazing card. I use it all the time. It's best in slot for Golbez. It's the reason why Golbez is as good as he is on Global.
Throw one on Golbez, throw one on Awakened Onion Knight, rerun the event again, and what is X Death that's coming with that skill?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, have 3 of those cards and just Meteor on turn 1 with 3 units.
There you go. Kick it back old school. Bring Medina too. Why not?
Medina.
Why not, man? In fact, let's even bring Cetra Aerith. Let her drop a holy. We'll just do it all. We'll do all of it.
Okay, so for this week we've got a lot of near stuff. I would say in quick contrast, Virtue's Contract is maybe good for whenever True dual wield comes out, but Emel's Head's great if you're running like a Golbez build. Executioner Plus is it's killers, it's nice. Maybe hold on to Ancient Overlord. Dragoon Lance, maybe if you're using Dragoons. Mechanical Heart, definitely worth picking up from 210. Pod 153, it's nice, it's usable. If you need Human Killer, Executioner's okay. Gentle Trader's still pretty good for Machine Killer. Divine Beast Chow's not terrible. So, if you're using Chow and you want to try to gear him for a little bit of DPS, it's not bad. You've got the STMR and TMR for A2, which are both pretty decent. The STMR and TMR for 2B, which the Trust Mastery is significantly better than the STMR as far as like how many you should get. The Vision card, it's okay. It's nice. It's all right. Chains of Protection is way better than Chains of Strength, so pick that up maybe. And then if you're pulling on the Sylvie Esther banner, get anything except for the magic chest piece.
Perfect.
Whew, that's a lot. Man, this was a busy week.
And yet, I find myself with lots of energy and nothing to use it on. I'm just gonna keep spamming that FF6 event because it's amazing for trying to restock on black magic upgrade crysts that are impossible to get a hold of, and every unit needs 100 of them to max out their abilities now.
An insane amount. Like like whenever Neovision and Awakened Onion Knight dropped, he had like 50 abilities that you had to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I understand the units are dropping and they're not that great, so they have to upgrade a lot, but oh my god.
I remember when the hardest part of ability upgrades was gil, not upgrade materials.
Oh, yeah.
And now here we are.
I mean, all right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. Anything you want to say before we wrap up?
No, guys, have fun, stay safe. Thanks for having me, Flip.
All right. Thanks, DBarry. Much love. Peace.